So, Alma, it's 10 years ago. It's
10 years,
crazy. It's a long
crazy.
time. Could you briefly tell us what your TEDx talk was about? I mean, it's quite a while, but...
You mentioned it also somehow. It meant a lot to me back then. I didn't know it back then. But that was actually the start of my political career. Because it was the first time when and I remember it really well, you kind of forced me to do it. You said, you should tell your story. Go out, come on, you should do it. And back then I was a lawyer in a big law firm. So you convinced me, and I was really glad that I did that. And I started for the first time in my life, I talked about how it was being a refugee in Austria. What it meant growing up as someone who always had a feeling of not belonging, of constantly being asked the question of identity. Who are you really? Where are you really from? And the questions come up constantly, and that always gave me a pushback, you know. Whenever I was kind of clear with myself, all of a sudden I realized it was actually the society that is forcing me to choose between different identities. Because as many of you probably know, I was born in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I came to Austria when I was 10 because of the war. And it was always this having to choose between Austria and Bosnia and Herzegovina. And it was only in New York that I realized I don't have to choose. I am both. I am Bosnian, but I'm also Austrian. And neglecting one of those parts is also neglecting part of me. And with this message, I went out and I said, hey, we should, there are so many people out there having double, triple identities, and they are all part of them.
Thank you so much. You know, the things, how they happened, we met at the Global Shapers. It's the youth organization of the World Economic Forum. They do amazing youth work here also in Vienna. So shout out to the Global Shapers. You know who you are. Hello. I can remember we had this one evening where we first time really had a deep talk, and you told me your life story, and I said, you need to say that on stage, so thank you so much. I know this is a big jump from topic, but I know many countries in Europe, but especially Austria, has this horrific situation of femicides. And I know you and your team are working very effortlessly on this topic. And my question to you would be, what do we as a society most probably don't understand about femicides, and what can we do?
Actually, the core topic, or the core problem is the same. It's always about injustice. It's always about inequality. And femicide is only a tipping point of inequality, because we have to face the truth, we still live in a patriarchal society. It's still, not all, but most men believe that they can decide what the women should wear, where they should go, how they should dress, what they should do, decide their life for them. And if they don't manage to do that, then the situation is tipping and they are exerting force. And this is where it becomes difficult and where there is so much that we need to do. Because, and unfortunately in Austria, we also recently had several femicides. And femicides means a woman is being killed because she's a woman. And this needs to stop. And it can only stop if we manage to have equality in our society. And to reach equality, it's all of us who needs to stand up. And it's in particular our male allies, whom I would like to call out. And because we need you. We need male allies. We need a whole society to stand up and fight this injustice, because only if we manage to reach a just system where we have equal rights, not only on paper, but in reality, we will overcome these tragedies. And so I call up for all male allies to speak up when you are in all male rounds and you hear misogynist jokes, to speak up if you see that your friend is humiliating another female friend. To speak up, that's already the first step. but also to offer help, because many women don't know that they are in a bad situation. They often don't know that this treatment is not okay. And it's not only, it does not start with beatings, it starts with words, it starts with harassment, it starts with humiliating comments. So speak up if you hear them, offer help, because the women need to know that they are not alone in this situation.
Thank you so much. Talking with another important topic, when you were minister, you were the first Austrian politician apologizing to the LGBTQI+ community for injustices done by the state of Austria to this community. Can you say a few words about it, what it meant for you and what you did?
I don't know if many of you know, but until the year 2000, male who had a same-sex intercourse were prosecuted, because there was a law that allowed for prosecution for people who had same-sex intercourse. And they were prosecuted, and they were even sentenced until the year 2000. And so when I came into office as a Minister of Justice, one of the first things that I've done is I apologized in the name of the justice sector for the injustice being done, because it's an incredible injustice only for loving someone to be sentenced and then put in prison for love is incredible. And this is happening in our society. I think it was more than time to apologize. And you know what? It was very emotional when there was the apology, because in the audience there were also a lot of people who were affected by the justice system back then. But there was also criticism. In particular, elderly judges came then later up to me telling me, you know what, we only executed the law. And I mean, hearing this sentence somehow reminded me of, past times when people were also saying, after the Second World War, we just executed the law. Law doesn't always have to be just, and so we have to stand up for injustice if we see it.
Just we every year do next to our TEDx at TEDx Pride in the framework of Vienna Pride, and our speaker said, well, at every vote we are just one vote away for a lot of rights to be again away. So we might live in liberal democracies now, but we only had to look to Hungary not too long ago, where this was completely different. But I think we're going in a good direction again. My next question is, there are a lot of people, also young people, who want to change something, but politics seems so intimidating. And my question is, what would you give them along on the way if they want to do something?
I know it's intimidating, and I know it's difficult because, it seems so far away, but please don't shy away from politics. We really desperately need young voices, young people in politics. We need young people with fresh ideas to change the course of action. So I know it sounds hard, but please do it. I encourage every one of you. We need you in politics. We need the change makers of tomorrow. So please stand up and do it.
Thank you so much. And one short final question, in true TED spirit, what is the last thought, idea, belief, mindset you would love the people to go home with?
Follow your passion. I know everyone says that, but please really do it. Because even if you think, well, my passion is this, but I have to earn money and I have to do this, follow your passion, because our world is changing so fast and so rapidly that if you follow your passion, your life will come on a way that suits you. So this would be my advice.
Super.
Follow your passion.
Thank you so much. Alma, this is your applause. Herzlichen Dank. Alma. Danke dir.